What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the Action After. And this week we're talking about Alexa Curtis's Action After, which was to build that muscle. All right, now, as we dive into this episode, we're going to be talking about how you build your muscle, but we're going to be talking about it in a way that may be a little bit different than how you normally build your muscle. But what I want you to really get as we dive in here is this analogy of building your muscle when you go to the gym. Right? We all know that if someone went to the gym once and they did 10 crunches, 10 sit-ups, 10 pull-ups, 10 squats, and 10 dumbbell curls, let's say, and walked out of the gym skipping, dancing, singing, "I'm going to be fit for the rest of my life," everybody looking at that person would go, "You're crazy, you're insane," and that's obviously, as I would call it, some stinking thinking. So what we're going to do with building our muscle today is we're going to build our uncomfortability muscle. Now, obviously, listen to the episode. I still do not know if uncomfortability is a word, but what we're going to do here is build our uncomfortability muscle, and we're going to do it in two different ways. All right, you hear me all the time if you listen to this podcast a lot. And if you're just listening to it, one of my biggest beliefs in this world is successful people do what's uncomfortable till it becomes comfortable, and that's why they're successful, right? So you got to be willing to take uncomfortable action to really create a tremendous quality of life for yourself. And so two action after items we're going to dive into this week. The first one is going to be with small, little, uncomfortable actions that are simply going to reinforce in your brain that when you take uncomfortable action, good things happen. That taking uncomfortable action is a good action. And so a few ways that you can do this, Alexa mentioned it on our episode, is maybe you regularly go to the same coffee shop every single time you go get a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, or maybe it's like a sandwich shop, your lunch spot, or like whatever's a regular place you go to. If you're not a coffee drinker, maybe you go get salad somewhere or you get dinner somewhere all the time, whatever it is. But you want to ask yourself, what's maybe a different coffee shop you can go to? What's maybe a different sandwich shop you can go to? What's maybe a different place that you can go to that may be a little bit uncomfortable to try something different? But the key here is you want to reinforce that when you take uncomfortable action, that this is a good thing. All right, so simple manner, coffee shop. Your action could be go to a different coffee shop. All right. For some of you, a uncomfortable action could be, like maybe Alexa was saying, maybe that, we're working from home these days and you're doing a lot of stuff from your house. And you're like, it probably would be a good idea to get outside and get some fresh air and like go for a walk and like get sunshine and stuff like that. But it's way more comfortable to stay in your house, to sit in your chair, sit on the couch, do whatever it is. Maybe that's the uncomfortable action for you. The small uncomfortable action is you say, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go on a walk today, right? But the key that I want you to get here is if you're willing to accept this challenge. And I promise you, if you take this challenge, this may be one of the most powerful action afters you ever listen to. And if you take the challenge of saying every single day, I'm going to do at least one thing that makes me uncomfortable, right? This could be a really small thing at first. And you go, for this week, I'm just going to do loads of uncomfortable, tiny little actions, right? And do that, right? I have a sticky note in my room. I'm a big fan of sticky notes. Maybe you can put this one in your room somewhere. And it says, what did you do today to get uncomfortable? I'll say that again. What did you do today to get uncomfortable? And so when you go to bed, you look at that sticky note right before you go to bed and you go, oh, that was the thing I did. Or if you didn't do something, it's a simple reminder that tomorrow you're going to go make it happen. All right. But the key is building this muscle of taking small, uncomfortable actions. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what is one small, tiny, little, uncomfortable action that you can take? And then the next part is going to be to go do it. All right. What's one small, uncomfortable action you can do, and do that? You want to take it to a next level, do this for the next week. You want to take your life to a next level, do this regularly, weekly, daily. All right. Now, the second step of the action after is going to be that we all know when you go to the gym, maybe at first you start doing 5-pound dumbbell curls, or you start doing squats with just the barbell, right? And you start with little weight, little resistance. And as you go more often, as you do it longer, you can do heavier reps. You can lift up a little bit more weight. You become stronger. What we're doing here is we're becoming stronger when it comes to getting uncomfortable, right? If you right now were like, you know what, I've never really got uncomfortable with that many things. I've really, started to notice that in my life, I'm always comfortable all the time and I want to grow. I want to stretch. I want to become more. I want to do more. If you were like, tomorrow I'm going to do this thing that's so uncomfortable, I'm going to move states, I'm going to start this show, and you went like 0 to 100, that's one way that you can do that. And I always encourage that. But a smoother way you can transition into it is, for a lot of people, you may be like, I'm not ready to do the big uncomfortable action. So what you do is you do the small little ones to build the muscle. And then as we get into the second part of the action after, this is to ask yourself the question of what is one large, uncomfortable thing that you can do to move forward in your life. And if you're listening to this question right now and you're going, some of you are going, I know what it is. And if you know what it is, I'm going to challenge you again. I'm going to encourage you, and I'm going to hopefully guide you to step into that uncomfortable action if you already know what it is. Now, if you're listening to this and you're going, I don't know what the heck that uncomfortable action is, I'll give you one way on how you can start to find this. And one way is, as you look at, let's say, your professional career, right, your life, or something that you want to do in your life, I want you to ask yourself, what is one thing that you know could move your life forward that scares you? What's one thing in your life that you know you need to do that scares you? Now, for some of you, it may be going, okay, I'm scared to ask for that promotion. It could be, okay, I'm scared to leave this job that I don't love, right? For some of us, it could be that I'm scared, if we're not doing a career sense, I'm scared there's this girl I like, this guy I like, and I'm scared to go send a message, right? But you want to ask yourself, what's something that you are scared to do right now? And as you answer that question, more likely than not, that's going to be the thing that's the big uncomfortable action that you need to take, right? What's one of the things you're most scared to do? And the reason you're scared to do it is because it's going to force you outside of your comfort zone. All right, so you can ask that question. What's one thing that I'm scared to do in my professional life right now? What's one thing I'm scared to do in my relationships right now? What's one thing I'm scared to do in my fitness right now? What's one thing I'm scared to do in fill in the blank? And then when you answer that question for whatever area of your life you want to focus on, that is the uncomfortable action that you are going to take in step 2 of this action after. And know that as you take this step, it is going to be uncomfortable. The reason it's called uncomfortability, is this word that I'm making up, is because as you step into it, it's scary. It's nerve-wracking. You don't know what's going to happen. You have to have faith. You have to have courage. You have to have all these things. But the biggest thing I want you to grasp right now is that the more actions and decisions you make in your life where you step into this uncomfortable action, this uncomfortability, the more times you do that, the higher quality of life that you will have. All right, so embrace the uncomfortability, hug the uncomfortability, get familiar with the uncomfortability, because you want to get to the point where you've built this muscle so much that you go, uncomfortability is my best freaking friend, and I hang out with it every single day of my life, and your life looks phenomenal. All right, so that's going to be the action after this week, my friends. Very simple. We are building that muscle. Number 1, take a small, uncomfortable action. Number 2, take a large, uncomfortable action to move the needle forward in your life. All right, so that's the action after for this week, my friends. If you have not yet, as always, go make sure you subscribe, share this to a friend, and let's get the world doing more of what they love. Let's get more people in this world waking up, pinching themselves, going, man, I cannot believe this is the life I get to create. We can do this together. Simply send this to a friend you know can help, and we will go make an impact on the world together. All right, have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.